Hey folks, it's Nick Granville. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Hey, so today I wanted to talk about kind of one thing that I do a lot with my practice, and it might be something that you might find useful. For me, I practice all the time. You know, I'm a professional musician, and so there's no excuse for me to not have my shit together when I'm doing this, right? Like, there's an expectation that I'm going to come on the gig and I'm going to nail it, right? Otherwise, why are you getting booked? They can just book someone else. So it's kind of one of those things that I want to know that when I get up there and I'm going to have to play some music, that everything's kind of firing on all cylinders, if you will. And this is something that I do all the time in my practice. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, I changed my whole priority of how I play and what really matters to me, and I made it more about rhythm than anything else, and still that today. So today, like what I thought I'd talk about is kind of different approaches to work on your rhythm. Now, when I say rhythm, I don't mean rhythm guitar. We could be talking about that, right? Like, you know, that's great stuff too, right? But really what I'm talking about today is like how you place like even just single notes. And so one of my favorite things to do, put like that intro you heard there, to put on a beat and just play along and take a rhythmic approach. What I mean by that is I could play something like a line like that, right? That to me is like a melodic approach. Whereas if I go, right, that to me is like I'm now coming to it from a rhythmic point of view. And so to me, that's a really powerful way of playing. See, to me, that's kind of almost kind of in between, right? And so I take that approach, put a drum beat on. There's loads of good drum beats out there. One thing that I've done a lot is go on YouTube, type in Keith Carlock or Bernard Purdie or Steve Jordan or any of those drummers that really groove hard, and put on one of their drum solos, and it'll just be them grooving for the most part. And see, can you kind of come up with a part that locks it? Choose a key. So in that case, I was just A minor, right? Choose a key and then go, right, can I kind of lock with where they're kind of putting the beat and the feel? And what will happen is if you do that for over like a period of time, say over 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you start to sort of feel where their groove is, right? You're adjusting to kind of fit to where they are. And that to me is kind of what music is about. It's about adjustment together. This is why, you know, when you overdub, which I do a lot of overdub sessions, you're not playing together. So like if a drummer's put down their part and I'm putting my part down afterwards, well, the drummer's not adjusting their part to me, and it kind of feels a bit wonky. Do you know what I mean? It's much better if we can be playing together at the same time. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. But I think the big thing is just choose a key and try and find where the pocket is. And what I mean by that is like, where is the point where how do I put it? I think the easiest way of putting it is like, you know, you can talk about playing behind the beat, ahead of the beat, on the beat, all these sort of things. But really, there's just where the groove is. And if the groove is behind the beat, like one of those blues things like that, that's not really behind the beat. It is behind the beat in terms of where that is. But that's just now where the groove is, right? And so you can actually play up on the beat, but make it musically feel like you're rushing. And the reason it'll feel like it's rushing is because you're now ahead of where the groove is, even though you might be still on the click, right? You're just more up on the click. So it's one of those things, like find where the groove is and then try and lock with it and make that kind of your thing. And if you do that enough over a period of time, what happens is it starts to become part of your playing, right? When you play, you automatically fall into that place, right? If I play something like this, if I did that every day for a week, I'd probably notice things about my playing. Certain things would lock in, and especially if I do it with a really good drummer, you know, like a drum loop, really good drummer. If you got a drummer you can play with, even better still. But I think that's kind of the thing, right? Like that a lot of musicians miss is this rhythm focus rather than a melodic focus. Do you know what I mean? And playing along with drum loops is, or a drummer is like one of the best things you can do. And find the pocket. When you find the pocket, stay there, and then do that for 10, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever you can do, you know. And if you do that every day, before you know it, your playing is just going to go to another level. And the interesting thing is, when I play with new musicians, it's usually the first thing I'm listening for, like, is where is that person's groove, right? And if I find that quickly and we kind of lock in, then I know the gig's going to be good. And if I'm struggling with them because it's moving around and they're got no real sense of time, which happens, you know. I played with a bass player like that the other day, and he just had no real sense of time. It was all moving around over the place, and I was like, this is going to be a hard night. And now imagine how people might feel about my playing if that's what I was doing, right? So I'm working on it, and I'm by no means perfect at this. It's got, you know, it's a work in progress, and it always will be. But you keep working on it, it gets stronger and stronger. Just like any other skill, you can train it up. And that's kind of the key, I think. Hey, give it a go. Let me know what you think. Hey, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Let me know, is there stuff you want me to cover or just topics you want me to discuss? More than happy to, you know. If there's something I can do to help you on your journey with music, then let me know. I do private lessons, so hit me up in the comments if that's what you want to do. If you want to get deeper into any topic that I've covered on the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe. Stay cool. Cheers.